Hi guys, this is Amazing Chang here, and today I'm back with another video. Today's video is going to be a little bit special because I'm not going to do any interview, I'm not going to do any traveling. Rather, today I'm going to talk about why I started my YouTube channel. And I just want to preface this video by saying that I know that it's going to be pretty controversial and I might get shadow banned or even blacklisted. But you know what? Hey, I'm here for it. The ultimate thing is that I want to express myself, and this is a channel through which I can do so, and that is why I'm going to do that. You guys might or might not know that I have been an English teacher for 2 years now, a decent amount of time. The ultimate reason why I started my own YouTube channel is because I don't want to be an English teacher anymore. At least for English centers here in Ho Chi Minh City. I'm going to tell you the reason why. I have applied for multiple, like countless English centers here in Vietnam, hoping to look for a good position with attractive remuneration. But it seems like for English centers here in Ho Chi Minh City, that just does not exist. So let's talk a little bit about the interviewing process. The first thing is that you have to do a demo lesson. And I fully understand the reason why you have to do a demo lesson. And I think that is reasonable that centers ask of teachers to prepare demo lessons, because that is probably one of the best ways to gauge or to evaluate a teacher's ability or competency for this position, or to even see if this teacher's style of teaching or the teacher's energy or this teacher's personality is a good fit for the specific English center. But the thing is, if you're someone applying for a job, you don't put all your eggs in one basket. You don't just apply for one place and hoping that it's a one shot, one kill kind of thing. You apply for multiple places, at least 2, at least 3, or even more than that, 4, 5, 6. And imagine every single center, English center that you apply for a job, you have to do a demo lesson. It is only reasonable that I think English centers should temper their expectations in the sense that they should only be reasonable with what they demand teachers of in terms of the demo lesson content. But that is not something that I have experienced, unfortunately. I once applied for this center and I was asked to do a demo lesson of 30 minutes, outlining 2 different skills, the reading and the writing skills or something like that. I don't really remember. They asked for handouts, interactive, engaging slideshow, and then lesson plan. A very specific lesson plan detailing how you're going to go about your lesson. Even though you're only doing part of the lesson in the demo, you're going to have to make a lesson plan for the entire lesson as if you're going to teach the entire lesson. So you're going to have to plan different activities for each part of the lesson. You're going to have to plan the timing for each activity. You're going to have to break down how each activity is going to be conducted, everything. And it took me at least 2 to 3 hours to plan a demo lesson for each English center. Multiply that by the number of applications that you have sent out. That is something that can be very discouraging, very exhausting for teachers to do. And I don't think that recruiters really understand that. So they don't really ask for a simple demo lesson like, okay, so please prepare a 15-minute demo lesson about any grammatical point of your choice, something that you're most confident with, or not, it's not something like, okay, prepare a demo lesson with any of the 4 skills in the IELTS exam, pick whatever you're most comfortable and confident with. It's not like that. It's very specific and you have to really tailor to what they want you to do. And then when you show up, this has happened to me. When you show up to the demo lesson, it does not really take 30 minutes. It takes, okay, you don't have to really demonstrate. Just walk me through the demo lesson. Tell me what you're going to do in each part. And then something that you spend 2-3 hours preparing turn into like a 5-10 minute explanation, which is something that is, again, very discouraging. You should not set the expectation for your candidates and then not respect the work that they put in. Another puzzling issue that I have picked up during the interviewing process is the salary negotiation. For the majority of English centers here in Ho Chi Minh City, there is no such thing as salary negotiation. They don't take into consideration your credentials, your years of experience, or your competency, your personality, your potential for growth. Nothing. No, nothing. If you become an official employee for them, you have to start from scratch. You have to start from the bottom up. Go with what their base salary would be, and you go up from there, right? You have to prove your ability. You have to prove your worth, right? Then the question is, what is the interviewing process? What is the demo lesson even for if you're not gonna judge a candidate's ability based on that, and you're just gonna offer them the lowest salary level when they start at your center? And then these centers, they demand exclusivity. It is going to be clearly stated in the contract that you cannot work for any other employer, any other competitor of them. You cannot even work as a freelancer. In other words, if they find out that you're teaching elsewhere, you're out. That is considered a breach of contract. And I understand that. I understand that, each center has their own method, has their own recipe, has their own unique point that they want to keep to themselves. The teacher work elsewhere. That information, that confidential information is going to be leaked. But then try to couple that with the ambiguous language when it comes to assigning you hours, teaching hours. So they demand exclusivity from you, but then you are not guaranteed at all. In a contract, they would use very ambiguous language when it comes to the number of hours that you're going to get. There's no guarantee that you're going to get the amount of hours that you want when you work for this company. And they're going to write in the contract something along the lines of, or to the effect of, the number of hours you're going to be assigned is going to be based on business situations, how business is doing, or you will receive a minimum of one class per week. If I guarantee my commitment to you, how am I going to make sure that my source of income is secured? The only source of income that I have is from working for you. And then you don't guarantee that that source of income is going to be abundant where I can live by or where I can provide for myself at least. So that is something that I find very inhumane about these centers. I think that they prioritize profit and I prioritize trying to, snatch the best teachers out there in the market. But, they don't want to give candidates anything in return. They don't want to reward candidates. They don't want to give candidates the remuneration or the benefits that they deserve. And then another problem with these centers is the way that they bring you down. And when I say bring you down, I mean it. Imagine when you're there for the interview and you have finished your demo lesson and you sit down for a feedback session. It happened to me before. The constructive feedback on what I did well lasted for 5 minutes. And the remaining 25 minutes of the feedback session was dedicated to nitpicking what I did wrong and, pointing out what my shortcomings were. And it was like the smallest thing. For example, I was criticized for addressing a student that was around my age or even younger as nhỏ, which is something that in Vietnamese would be used to address, younger sisters or even a friend of yours. So that is something that people address each other like a little bit intimately. And my purpose when I did that, when I addressed her in such a way, in such a manner, was to create a more cordial, a more friendly atmosphere so that we can kind of kindle a connection between the teacher and the student so that, we can bridge that gap between, this person is so distant from me. This person is just so higher up. This person is just a teacher and I don't feel any sort of personal connection with them. I was trying to avoid that and I was trying to take away that atmosphere or that feeling. And that was why I addressed her as such. And that intention was met with severe criticism. And looking back on it, that is just generalization fallacy. Because what they said about what I did was that we have a lot of adult learners here at our centers. So we can't have you addressing adult learners in such a way and therefore offending them. So you're characterizing my entire personality, my entire ability to gauge the situation, to read the room by just one very isolated instant. That is just trying to bring me down. That's just using fallacy to make me feel inferior about me and about my ability, and ultimately to get me to accept a lower salary or even to turn down my application. And that would be the reason for turning down my application. And then I attended another interview for another center. I was given a situational question where I was asked, what would you do if a student reached out to you in the middle of the night for a question? Of course, related question, a question about something that they didn't understand in class, or a question about a grammatical point that they didn't understand. And I prefaced my answer saying that, well, first of all, I definitely, and this is something that I do with every single class that I teach, is that I teach my students to cultivate the ability to learn independently and to do their research independently. I walk them through the process of, okay, how you're going to, look for the definition of a new word that you don't know, convey an idea that in English, the way you want to convey it, stuff like that. So just give them the tools and the resources so that they can learn independently. Because think about it, being able to learn independently is a very crucial skill. Right after you leave school and you enter college, university, or even when you enter the workforce, no one is going to walk you through every single problem that you encounter. No one's going to do that. They're going to evaluate your competency based on your ability to solve problems, or based on your ability to grow and learn independently by yourself. So after prefacing my answer with that, I moved on to telling her that what I would do is actually I would not respond to my student if it is outside of work hours, because I prioritize my mental and physical well-being. And I think that I'm also a human, so I deserve to have my own space, my own time. And I think that I should not be obliged to sit there, wait on my computer or on my phone for my student to hit me up and to answer every single question that they have, unless I'm paid to do it. Or else that would be, unpaid work. And I understand tending to your students is one of the responsibilities of a teacher, but there should be a limit to that. There should be a line between work and life. You should not mix those up. And to ask me that question is to, by nature, ask me if I would be willing to give up my life, my work-life balance, in return for addressing my students' needs, which is not something I'm willing to do. And honestly, if it comes to that, then it says a lot about the student, that they don't really respect other people's time, and they don't really have good time management skill. Because why are you randomly asking people questions about your studies in the middle of the night? Why can't you just arrange a better time to study and to do that? And so, of course, I failed the application because that was my answer. And I think that is a blessing in disguise, because that has ultimately led me to think that I would not be a slave in this modern day and age. I would not work for you disregarding my mental and physical health. I would not dedicate myself and get nothing in return. I would not do that. And that is just straight up slave labor. And also, honestly, why don't they just develop a better system? If they wanted to, they would develop a better system where students would be supported 24/7, so that the companies or the business or the center's reputation is maintained. They would still be regarded as taking good care of their student and still prioritizing their employees' well-being. And that system could be anything. It could be on a rotational basis where person A or employee A will be on shift from this time to this time. Within that time frame, this employee A will answer any question that any student might have. And then employee B will take on the responsibility in the next shift. Or even just have teachers answer students' questions, because it's best if teachers tend to their students' needs, right? Because that is more personalized. But have teachers do so during office hours, and then have a team dedicated to answering students' questions or addressing a student's needs off business hours, right? Why don't they do that? And the answer is pretty obvious, because they prioritize maximizing revenues. There's no such thing as maintaining employees' well-being or and they don't even care about employees' retention. And that is the reason why the turnover rate in this profession specifically is so high. It's because people get burnt out and they can't continue doing these basically inhumane and just outrageous work. And that is also why I know a lot of people who are English teachers. That is also the reason why they stop teaching or they just start working for themselves. They just start tutoring or freelancing and not work for any English center anymore. Just to wrap this video up, that is the reason why I was committed to start my own channel, because I thought hard about it and I came to the realization that I should be working for myself. If I am sick and tired and fed up with these old and outdated rules, I should be creating my own game. And that is what I'm doing right here, right now. I'm creating my own game where I can play by my own rules, where I can develop and grow at my own pace, and where I feel comfortable chasing my passions and my aspirations without being told what to do constantly 24/7, or, without being criticized or nitpicked for what I do wrong. So I think that is probably it for this video. I know that is a little bit dark or, negative or pessimistic point of view that I presented today. But honestly, I think that is just a sad reality that is happening right now. And I just want to say that I'm not saying that this is an overarching theme for every single English center or business here in Ho Chi Minh City or in Vietnam. Out there, if I was lucky enough, I would have been able to find a good employer who cares about my well-being and who cares about helping me develop myself professionally and be with them in the long term, in the long run, and not just be with them for a short amount of time so that they can maximize their benefit and then kick me out. Hopefully with this channel, I can chase my passion, chase my dream, or find what it is that I want to do with my life, which I think is something that is really hard to find out, right? But I still have a lot of time, and hopefully this channel will grow and it will grow in the direction I want it to, because I now can do what I want to do, and I now can be proud of myself for taking the initiative, for taking a leap of faith and stop being stuck in a very toxic cycle of just work and be disappointed. All right, so thank you for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!